I'm Turk Stallman, current resident at Mind of Oldest Institute. Thank you for selecting this video, an overview of the in progress video series here on how to look, feel, and act like life is easy for you. Before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and do that right now. Activate the notification bell feature at the same time to be apprised of new uploads here at Mind of Oldest. Remember to give this video a thumb up to share the joy of the channel with others. And make note of the donation by PayPal information immediately below your media player window right now. Subscribe and get notified. An overview. Material world life is difficult. Its difficulties affect our personal relationships, how we feel, our personal atmospheres, and how we act. Our personal atmospheres, how we feel, and how we act affect other people accordingly, and they affect their interactions with us. Can we take steps to minimize the effects of life's difficulties? Or can we do so to such extent that we look, feel, and act like life is easy for us? I'm suggesting that we can. It's the same as if we were to ask, can we experience life easily despite its difficulties? And if so, then how? Well, I say the majority of us can do that, and there exist any number of approaches to its accomplishment, as with all such human doings. This video series instructs upon a comprehensive set of steps to take in parallel with one another, such that their combined results suffice to make it all happen. We're going to cover practicing expressionless pain, but I think first should come practicing expressionless physical exertion. That should be the first. It should come before practicing expressionless pain, but we will cover both. We will practice focusing on rhythm, practicing isolated muscle use. I'm going to briefly define each of these here in a moment. Focusing on calm confidence, ceasing body tics, remaining open to new information and to personal change. When we speak, saying only what is necessary, speaking thoughtfully, quietly, and slowly. Practice smiling, keeping the mouth closed all the way without clenching the jaw, breathing rhythmically, stretching the abdominal diaphragm, increasing physical ability through systematic strengthening exercise, and increasing physical agility through focused stretching exercise. Standing and walking tall, never allowing a negative or self-deprecating thought, finding beauty in even the ugliest things, doing right out of a sense of duty rather than for its results, excuse me, and at the end of each day, mentally reviewing and arriving at a sense of closure over its events every day. Those are what we have on the table for discussion at this point here in this series. It is my idea, and once again, like I said, that this video series instructs upon, excuse me, I can't, sorry, slippery surface. It's not even wet. A comprehensive set of steps to take in parallel with one another, such that their combined results suffice to make it happen. Make what happen? Experiencing life easily despite its difficulties. Looking, feeling, and acting like life is difficult for us. So, focusing on and practicing expressionless physical exertion. Notice the difference here. Watch. Let me do something. What am I going to do? All right. Here's a box. There's a new phone, flip phone, old style flip phone. Just got it today, just delivered. Haven't opened it yet. I'm not going to right now. But watch my face. I'm going to do this twice. One, expressing physical exertion, physically expressing, demonstrating, showing, exhibiting physical exertion. And then the second time, we're going to do the same thing with the box. That will be try to figure out how to open it right without showing or demonstrating, exhibiting signs of physical exertion. Okay, here's the first. Okay, let's try that again. That was first run through. Here's the second, like I had said. Okay. Of course, we all know where I'm going with this, right? Practicing expressionless physical exertion. It did take some physical exertion. It wasn't strenuous activity, but it was physical exertion. I had to look from various angles. It could have been something a little bit more physically exerting, like this, like trying to pick up the table. There, all of that. Or okay, you get the difference, right? Now, which one looks easier? Which one looks like there really wasn't any physical exertion happening? Not to any uncomfortable extent at all. Like it was easy activity. Which one looked like it felt easier? Which one looked like it simply was easier? The second one, of course. That's what we're talking about doing. And it was easier. I experienced that. Of course, it was a contrived example. Sure. But looking back on it, knowing that it was a contrived example, which of the two felt more easy? It was actually easier to do the second contrived example. It required less physical exertion. Okay. Now practicing expressionless pain. That's a bit more. That can get more difficult. But it can be done. A show of pain is a show of vulnerability, of having a hard time with life right now while the pain is being shown. Right? That means pain is being experienced right now, felt. Well, this requires special attention from people. Either they look away, or they want to help, or it changes the way they feel about you right now. You are somebody in pain. And the more you look like you're in pain, the more pathetic you might look, the more like a weakling you might look. Maybe somebody would think it's an exaggeration. Look, it doesn't feel good. Clearly. But that's the nature of pain. It doesn't look like anything's going easily right now. No. It doesn't seem like it feels that way, and it doesn't. You're not acting like life is easy. You don't look, feel, or act like life is easy. And no. Okay. But it can be practiced. Minimizing the outward expression of physical pain, or any pain. emotional pain. Physical might be the physical pain. I'm not going to say that might be the more difficult of the phases of pain that we experience, or the less difficult. I was going to make a comment, but I think it depends on specific situations. But you could do this. Here's something. This is I learned this in Filipino stick fighting training. To a warm-up exercise, say, before a training class begins. While people are individually, just personally taking in time, they're 5 or 10 minutes early on the floor. So maybe they're just doing some independent stretching, whatever they feel like. And they may use the 2 sticks. They're about the size of, like, let's say, 2.5 foot long, 3/4 inch diameter dowel rods. That's about what they are like. They are not dowel rods, but okay, let's just say they are the same effect here. And they just use them to lightly strike their bodies, kind of rapidly. Just tapping, hitting, even maybe on the head a little bit. On the forearms, on the legs, or lightly on the kneecaps, everywhere. Like in the stomach area. Slapping, hitting, but both of them, just to get used to it, just to get used to the physical contact, to get used to it not being where you might prefer it, like just showing up kind of like anywhere, and what it feels like. Boxers, martial artists, anybody who involves themselves in hand-to-hand fighting, training, or frequent real life experiences like that, they get used to getting hit and kicked pretty hard, and actually, it may still cause pain. It's not the same as it used to be. No. Okay, so you can practice things like that to learn what it feels like to do that, to learn that you can do that. Experience physical pain without showing it. It's surprising the effect that has, that being able to do that has on how the pain is actually felt. If you get used to a certain level or sort of pain or area of physical pain, but it's not just like persistent, non-stop, relentless, you can come to experiencing, when you are experiencing, as something very interesting to feel. It's strong. It can be, you can kind of like tune into it and just kind of like trip with it. Like just experience that feeling. It can be interesting. That's not the same experience anymore. So you're going to look, feel, and act like life is easier for you than experiencing it otherwise. At least that. Right? Focusing on isolated muscle use, practicing isolated muscle use. This relates, in a sense, to expressionless physical exertion. Isolated muscle use. Consider when I was doing that example of trying to lift the table. Like that, this, right? These muscles were called into play, probably loads of them, facial muscles, right then. But they really weren't necessary. They had nothing to do, really, with the act of lifting the table. In other words, what muscle use was required. to budge the table. That could be done without any of the facial muscles coming into action. They came into action, all right. It was quite visible and quite feelable. In fact, that action of these facial muscles goes hand in hand with it being really difficult to lift the table. Not easy at all. Look, feel, and act. They come together here, okay? Look, feel, and act like life is easy for you. Okay, with this dovetails with isolated muscle use. Isolated muscle use, in that case, lifting the table thing, would be using only the muscles required to do the job. Only those. To the greatest extent, to the fullest extent possible, isolating the use of those muscles from all the rest, or isolating all the rest from only what's required to do the job. Isolate those. Bring into action the ones that are on one side of the line, the need to use those muscles, from what's on the other side of the line, the ones that don't have anything to do with it. Okay. Isolated muscle use. All right. Alongside with that would be, okay, so you've isolated the muscles that you're going to use to do the movement. Now, and the rest remain relaxed. But now the ones that are being brought into activity to complete the objective at hand, use them only to the extent that's required to do it. How about that? Huh? Well, I think this should be self-explanatory. Looking, feeling, and acting like life is easy. Or going about something easily. There's another way to say it. Going about, this all adds up to, in another way of putting it, going about life easily, as opposed to going about life otherwise. Non-easily, uneasily, diseasedly, focusing on calm confidence. I think you're getting the hang of these descriptions of our different areas of focus here. So put this together for yourself. Remember, we're after looking, feeling, acting like life is easy. Look, feel, act. It's a look, feel, act result. Look, feel, act. So what might focusing on calm confidence have to do with that? How about ceasing body ticks? I'm not talking about ticks that fall out of trees, land on our skin, and then dig into our bodies. And then they're now a body tick. No, not the same tick at all. A tick is a physical mannerism that is more to a twitch. A twitch. Or other sort of habit that is unnecessary and largely is done a little below the viewer's awareness of doing it. Things like this. When sitting and thinking of something, like, or that with the lip. Yeah. Or a lot of these when there's not really anything to do. How about that? Broxing. Women don't do that, only men. Not all men, but it's only men who do it. Broxing, clenching of the jaw. That's kind of a tick, body tick. Always doing the eyebrow thing. This kind of, on and on and on, right? Bouncing your leg up and down. Playing with a pencil. These little habits, these physical mannerisms, they're repetitious actions. And they show discomfort. They show unease. If things were easy for a person, they wouldn't be doing this. They'd just be doing this. Right? What's this do? How about isolated muscle use? Unless this is what you want to be doing. If what you want to be doing is sitting there thinking about something, then this is not required for that. It's muscle use. This is it's being thrown into the activity. Then it's not required for the activity. So that's not good isolated muscle use. No. This is not being separated from the activity at the moment, which is actually a mental activity. Okay. Ceasing body tells about remaining open to new information and to personal change. New information does come along a lot. Opportunities for personal change do come along a lot. And to not remain open, which does take practice through life. It does. It takes practice. Make things easier. Because a person really has to put up a lot of guard to not be open to new information. But it does take practice. It's true. But putting up a lot of guard can make life more difficult because new information could be very useful to living life more easily. And to personal change, look, a plant that does not grow doesn't look like life is being easy for it. If all the rest keep growing and that's been just, its growth is stunted, there's no change, right? It could probably be experiencing life with greater ease. It's trying to grow. I don't know what else to say about it. When you speak, say only what is necessary. Life more easy? Yeah. Saying only what is necessary. Well, that cuts out a heck of a lot of stuff. Because people in general say a lot more than they need to. They say a lot more than they need to. Sorts of things, categories of information than are required in life or in any given, most given situations. And then when they do, if they do speak about something that really needs to be spoken of or spoken about, well then they say more than is necessary about it. That's often the case, but that's a lot of wasted energy. It's tiring. It can come with an expression of stress or the need to get it all out fast before getting interrupted. It doesn't look easy. It doesn't sound easy. It doesn't feel easy. It's not a matter of acting easily. It's not. You can cut way down on what's spoken. Then you can do this other one more easily. Speak thoughtfully. You're not going to say as much. If you can improve upon that and take advantage of that by putting more thought into what's said, which means going a little bit more slowly and with no greater volume than is required. Well, this becomes pretty easy. It's easy to hear. It's easy to follow. Easier than otherwise. It feels easier. It is easier. Although it may take practice to get to that. To just speak more easily. Practice smiling. Life feels more easy if you're a practiced smiler, such that even if your face, mine, tends to, if left on its own, droop around the mouth. See, it looks down, right? It's a facial shape thing. That's it being relaxed. Now, I can't create a different relaxed, but it's not the facial, like it's inherent relaxed, 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 relaxed. But I can also intentionally just get the muscles to maintain a slightly different position at no real effort. Just turn them up a little bit at corners of my mouth, like this. So at least my lips go straight across, but that looks very different. And practice smiling. It feels better. It actually could be easily interpreted the way it feels as, yeah, life feels more easy. Yeah. It feels better. It feels cheerful. It feels happier. It really does. Because when a person does feel happier than normal, they tend to smile more. Okay. Along with the mouth thing, the smiling, and the speaking, then with mouth, when not speaking, and the mouth is, the lips are shut, right? Not only practice to smile a little bit. This doesn't, practice smiling does not mean just like always a slight smile on your face. It means smiling more frequently to people, and when talking or after saying something, or just as a nod and a greeting and a smile. It means more than that too. Yes. In other words, be always looking about like you are kind of smiling a little bit, and you're always ready to give a bigger smile. And you do it. There. Like, see, I could have just left it like that. And you do. Like that. Other than that, keep your mouth closed all the way. Now, that's often said about, stop talking so much. About talking too much or just running on his mouth, saying more than what's necessary. Hey, can you just keep your mouth shut? People say that. But it also means physically. It's good practice. Say only what's necessary, and the rest of the time, close your mouth physically. Close it, literally. All the way. Not just... Because I can still go like this. Close it all the way. Till my teeth touch each other, Lower jaw meets upper jaw. Okay. That's the closed position. Anything else is open. Now, of course, isolated muscle use. Only exerting what physical force is required to do the job. Isolated muscle use means yes, use only the muscles necessary, right? And only to the extent necessary. So to keep my mouth closed, I don't have to put any further force on it. I just want to bring it down to closed, and after that it's squeezing, trying to go more than closed. No, just closed all the way. That's it. Like that. Not. No, just closed. Some people are used to having their jaws not fully closed like that, just slightly open, because it's a little more relaxed feeling. It is not closed, and it might feel odd to actually close your mouth and just keep it that way without having some specific purpose, like chewing on something or grinding down, bearing down on it. You just close it. But that, and the feeling and experience and and display of self-reliance go very closely together. And self-reliance and looking, feeling, and acting like life is easy go hand in hand. Keep mouth closed all the way without cleansing your jaw. Breathing rhythmically. There's so much that can be said about that. I'm pretty much just going to not say anything right now about it. Breathing rhythmically. Rhythmic breathing calms the mind. Let's leave it at that. Okay, for now. Stretching the diaphragm. This is when you don't hear much. In fact, I never, myself, that I know of, that I can remember, heard of from any outside source. Stretching your diaphragm, you know, the muscle that separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. And there's always a work with breathing in connection with looking like and feeling and acting like life is easy. I never know. But many of us, so I came up with this myself. And I think it's a good one. I hope you'll agree. It's stretching that upward and downward. Just simple technique or two that are safe to do. I'm not going to, cause you an injury. But that actually stretches. Once done, once practiced a little bit, creates a big difference. That until you do that, perhaps it worked like this for me until I did that. I didn't know there was such a difference that could be had. And it blends right in well with looking, feeling, and acting like life is easy. There's a tension there, a stress. It's right in your solar plexus, And not everybody has this to much extent. People have it to different extents, or they may describe it differently, or feel it differently, but there's a tightness right here. Tight, okay? You might not know that that's what it is until you get it a little looser. But there are a couple of ways to move in that direction. And then there's a lot of tightness released. And it's a relief. It's a release, a relief. You feel like, metaphorically and literally, physically, breathe easier. All right. Increase physical ability through systematic strengthening exercise and physical agility through focused stretching exercise. This should be not any big news. Standing and walking tall. Yes. Imagine. Never allow a negative or self-deprecating thought. Whoa. We've all heard about that, right? It can be practiced. And the extent to which it is practiced is the extent to which it is experienced. And the extent to which that is experienced is the extent to which its contribution to looking, feeling, and acting like life is easy for you is evident. Self-evident. Wow, what did I just say? Find beauty in even the ugliest things. So this one is a big one to me at certain moments throughout the week, maybe. I may notice that a lot of stuff looks ugly. Other times, I look at things and I notice that there's something that, and most other times I think is ugly. But actually, I'm seeing it differently this time. In fact, look all around it. Yeah, this is a horrible looking street. Nothing but dirty factories or whatever. But now I'm seeing the dirt patterns and wow. This would be a good scene for a movie, I mean, like, that would be a beautiful shot right there. You're starting to find beauty in even the ugliest things. It may not be easy to do, but you could start by bearing in mind that this is something you really want to do. Because you could sure use looking, feeling, and acting like life is easy for you, or easier for you than currently you do. All right, so you're going to bear this stuff in mind. This would be one to look for, just to kind of experience it, because once you have the experience of something, then you don't have to go through all the preliminary steps to gain the experience, to be able to recognize the experience. This is, one or two times of learning to recognize the experience is enough to push you to the next phase of practice. Find beauty in even the ugliest things. Is that what it was? Yeah. Yeah. Sometime, whenever this just happens, and you look at something that, all right, let's say you're looking at a rock and it has a lichen growing on it. That green stuff that you can't scrape off a rock, a piece of granite or something. Okay, it's got a lichen on it. And it's just, the person you're with might see it and say, whoa, that is the ugliest lichen I've ever seen. It's got black in it. It looks filthy. You don't want to sit there, But what you're seeing is the contrast of the black areas look like a certain kind of lace, and the green ones look like they're a different pattern. It's not just a difference in color. And you start to see that these patterns repeat all the way around. And then you see the color of the black. It looks dirty and the drab looking green. And it just looks it's all perfect to you. Like, yeah, the colors are really drab. Yeah. Look at the patterns. They kind of go with the drab colors. And you think, yeah, that's really, for the look that it has, it's beautifully done. And there is finding beauty in an ugly thing. There's an example. So now, once you've got that idea there, how that works, and you could maybe stop for a moment there and think, aha, this is one of those. All right, I want to figure this out now. How can I analyze what I'm experiencing here, this difference? Finding beauty in even the ugliest thing. Okay, what's the ugly part? What's the beautiful part? How did I get from ugly to beautiful here? And now, how does that feel again? And just like pause mental activity and write on that. How does that feel? Okay, like let that burn in for a second. And now you can recognize it. Now you can create it. Now you can find an instance where you might want to try it and create that experience. Go through that same thoughts. Like, okay, what's the ugly part? What's the beautiful part? You get practiced at it. Because perceiving ugliness around you can really be a wearing thing. And it's not a happy thing. It's not comfortable. It's not pleasant. It's like a difficulty of the world, It's a difficult. It's not an easy part of being in the world. You're seeing ugly stuff around you. Find beauty in even the ugliest things. Do right out of a sense of duty rather than for its results. Let's let that one on its own for now. At the end of each day, mentally review and arrive at a sense of closure over its events. Every day. And actually make that the end of them. What can be done about them today? Like, for example, arriving at a sense of closure over an event that took place that really felt bad. Really felt bad. And you went ahead and felt bad. You went about it as easily as possible, and now you're going to easily let that be it. No more. Because it's been done. All that can be done, all that can be felt, all that can be thought over, all the remorse that could come with it, you have done. It had its time. And you go over the day, at the end of each day and review. Make sure you've got it all done. Then it's over. And rely on it. And act accordingly the next day. Go about the next day. Go about the next day. The next day. Knowing that at the end of the day you're gonna finish it out, just like you did yesterday, and like you will tomorrow, until this is the way you do it. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. Okay, those are what I have now. Those are what we're going to talk about. I may switch order. I may add a few. I may take one out. I may combine a couple. We'll see. But that's it. Again, the material world is life is difficult, and its difficulties affect our personal atmospheres, how we feel and how we act, and those three things affect other people outside of us accordingly, and they affect those other people's interactions with us. Excuse me for get this all sliding around. We can take steps to minimize the effects of life's difficulties, such as the things that I've talked about here as a preview or an overview. So, please take a moment and easily consider the differences that improvement along these lines would likely make for you in your life. You don't have to, I want you to try it right now. Something easily. Easily. Do only what's required for this. No strain. No forcing. No trying hard. Just breathe evenly a few times right now. Relax. And easily make up a short mental statement that describes a way that handling life with ease would serve you well. And then easily allow a mental picture to form of it being the case. Just one way that going about things in accordance with these practices I've talked about. In other words, going about life more easily. How that might make things better for you in your life. And allow a mental picture of that better being the case. I mean, just what's one way? You probably look younger when you get old than you would otherwise. There you go. That makes things easier, right? That would be a benefit. So our next step of instruction might just be that one that I said should come first. Practicing expression with physical exertion. To find out, see you in the next video in this series. Subscribe, get notified, like, share, comment kindly. Make note of the donation by PayPal information in this video's description area immediately below your media player window right now. Thank you for selecting this video, an overview of this video series, How to Look, Feel, and Act Like Life is Easy for You. I'm Turk Strawman at Mind of Oldest Institute. Be well.